We should walk away with $84,000. That means that we would have made almost $100,000 on this property with very little cash invested. The only thing I'm doing right now is I switched the utilities over to our name. And I've made 2 monthly payments of $1,100 to keep the agreement in play. But, small price to pay.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your host, Michael Matthew with VIP Financial Education, bringing you a great episode today. Guys, we're going to continue the trend of, going out and researching and exploring business opportunities, side hustles, whatever you want to call them on your behalf. Going to continue to bring them here on the channel as long as we're getting continued, positive feedback. One of these business opportunities or side hustles, if you will, and we'll go ahead and drop the playlist below, has been Pink Houses of America. They've been on the channel here for a number of years as a channel sponsor. We continue to bring them back on because they continue to impress. The feedback we're getting from our audience members, folks just like you that are watching, that have actually gone out, they have joined the Pink team and their market. Are going out there and doing deals right now. Now, obviously, the real estate market is continuing to evolve. None of us have that crystal ball. We've talked about that here on the channel before. If anyone knows how to get their hands on one, I will pay a premium for that because we would all like to see the future. That being said, we don't have that ability. But what we want to be able to do, obviously, in real estate is just pivot. And one of the things that Pink has done, particularly since the pandemic, is, bring in new investment strategies. It was really initially predicated on the executive lease purchase, which is no cash, no credit strategy. It has evolved over time. Today, we've got a very special guest. He's been on the channel here before. We'll go ahead and drop a link to his previous video. We've got Austin Evans with Little Pink Houses of America. Austin is in North Carolina. I'll let him give a brief bio about him. Just a great story, young guy, go-getter, has gone out and taken this opportunity over the last couple of years. He's been involved with Pink and has really just taken it next level. So we continue to be impressed by Austin. We talk behind his back. That's always good. He's got tons of energy, brings a wealth of knowledge at such a young age too at the table. That being said, welcome, Austin. Welcome back, rather.
Thanks for having me back. It's good to be here, Mike.
Yeah. No, we always love, particularly these young faces here on the channel. Austin has absolutely just knocked it out of the park. So, Austin, if you could just give the channel audience here, folks that maybe have not seen your first video yet, just a brief backstory of yourself. Where are you at? What kind of real estate experience do you have? How did you get involved with Pink? And then we'll just kind of fast forward the tape from there.
Okay. Yeah, so I live in Greenville, North Carolina, where East Carolina University is at. It's about an hour and a half from the beach in North Carolina. And I'm from here. I've lived here majority of my life, other than when I traveled around doing different sales jobs and for school. But it's a great area. I got involved with real estate initially because my dad, he's a real estate broker, commercially, residentially, property management. He's an appraiser. So he does pretty much all the conventional type of real estate, and he's been doing it for over 40 years. So I've been around it my whole life, that side of real estate. And I didn't really have any interest in that form of real estate, though. But when I was doing door-to-door sales, I got introduced to Pink through Jeff, who works at the corporate office. Started having multiple conversations with him, which led me to, getting involved, obviously, with Pink, and then kind of taking the next step, taking it seriously. And now me and my team, we run, the Eastern North Carolina territory, which is basically anything east of Raleigh, North Carolina, is what me and my team cover. So it's been a good experience, and I've been part of the Pink family for a little over 3 years now. Been full time for a little over 2 years now. So
fantastic. Now you touched on something there about your team. A lot of times people are looking at, initially maybe starting this as kind of a one-man show, maybe a husband and wife team, what have you. I know that you're a single guy, so you were starting this endeavor on your own, but you have built a team around you. What does that look like? And ultimately, just kind of talk through the logistics of that. So you started on your own, and then you've gradually bolted people on. if you don't mind diving into that a little bit, that's exciting because people often want to scale their business, over time, obviously, and you're a walking testimonial that can happen.
Yeah. So obviously in real estate and business in general, there's a lot of different ways you can scale, outsource, there's VAs, and there's all types of options out there. I've always liked to keep it in-house where I have more control. And that's kind of been my strategy. There's no wrong strategy. It's just what I prefer. So guys that I've always brought in right now, I've had a guy who did door-to-door sales with me for a couple of years. So I brought him on board. He's been with me pretty much since the beginning, since I've been doing it full time for 2 years. And then I have another buddy of mine who just wanted a career change during the pandemic. I spent a couple months training him and got him involved. So he's full time with me as well. But it's interesting. There's obviously ups and downs. Like one downside is, typically it's going to cost you more, right? Because you have to pay these people. They live here in the U.S. You have to pay them like a commission, which is going to, I guess, eat away at your bottom dollar. But the way I see it, and when I've been optimally performing, I've done way more deals than people that are paying these VAs that, don't really know your market. They don't know the people. They don't speak the best English. So I would rather pay people in-house that do that speak better English, that I know have like an impact. I know these people, they can build that rapport and relationship with people a lot better than maybe somebody that's not in the state or that's out of the country. So that's been my experience. With it, eventually, will we get a VA involved? Maybe for some cold calling, but at this point, we like what we do, and we're continuing to always make changes and revamp things, which is kind of what we're doing right now. We're under a major rehaul or revamp kind of the business for 2022. So.
Yeah, and I want to touch back on that later. So I'm going to take a note of that as far as 2022 kind of projections go. Just for everyone watching at home, if you're not familiar, VA is just a virtual assistant. So a lot of, whether it's, the Pink opportunity or other business opportunities or just any business out there, a lot of people are getting into kind of that outsourcing. Some of it's, overseas, which does create some barriers, just to be fair. There's great services out there, certainly not knocking them, but what Austin's saying is he would rather have them kind of under his tent, under his supervision on site, developing relationships there locally as opposed to, overseas over the phone. Correct? If that's what you're saying there?
Yeah, that's correct.
And you may pay a little extra, but you can also get a return on that investment. So you're investing in, additional help there to scale your business. And ultimately, you hope that translates into more deals and more transactions and ultimately outweighs the cost of bringing that team member on because they're paying for themselves and then, 5X or 10X or whatever that would look like. So fantastic, guys. If you like information like this, you want us to continue to talk about Pink here on the channel, go ahead and drop that thumbs up below. If you are interested in hearing more about this, go ahead and just shoot a quick email to pink@vipfinancialeducation.com. That's pink like the color at vipfinancialeducation.com. And the subject line include a Pink conversation in the body of the email. Be sure to include your first name, your last name, and the best phone number to reach you at. And someone from Pink will be in touch inside of 24 hours typically. So great opportunity, business in a box. A lot of people right now just, there's so many uncertainties in the world right now, Austin. The scariest thing always for me would have been to go work for someone else. That's scarier than anything that I see as an entrepreneur in my, 25, 26 years of being, a full-time entrepreneur at this point. With the pandemic, all the uncertainty, everything that's going on, in the economy right now, inflation, people are starting to gravitate towards taking control of their financial future. So they're starting to, whether they do a side hustle and they ultimately transition into that full-time from their W-2, or they keep both, they want multiple streams of income, which we always encourage here on the channel. How are you looking at the times right now? How are you projecting that into your real estate portfolio? And what does that look like for you in 2022? You said you're kind of doing a revamp or a reboot. Why and what is that going to look like for you?
So why we're doing a reboot, just because me and my other buddy who works with me, Joe, we honestly were going through some personal stuff, and and I think COVID had some play into that, and that kind of took a toll on us. So we had to take a step back, and we were trying to focus on ourselves and kind of just take a breather, kind of like look, kind of step back and like kind of look at what we're doing, and how do we do things better personally that also are going to affect the business. So that's what we've been kind of doing, more or less. And same thing with Josh, who's also, he's been working other sales opportunities, and he's kind of can't come back into the picture, wanting to pursue it full time and kind of get it going again. So that, and just reworking new marketing strategies, implementing like pay-per-click, SEO, trying out different CRMs that work better, different just different strategies, whether it's direct mail. We're trying to shop around and try to see how can we get our name out there, how can we pursue clients as many ways as possible, but obviously doing it cost effectively. You don't want to just shotgun blast it all the time and you're just pouring through money. So you want to do it somewhat cost effectively as well. And so that's what I would say. And then also exploring new opportunities. That's one of the other reasons why I stepped back is the last year I was taking a lot of time, which I love doing, because I love flipping houses, of America. I love the corporate office. So anything I can bring value to the corporate office is obviously going to have a trickle down effect and affect everybody in a positive way. And one of those things I was really working on was, getting a new hard money lending partner, RCN Capital, which we officially stamped that after kind of working on that for 6 months. Helping find some new lending partners that help our buyers. Took a couple of months of doing that. Credit repair, finding somebody specialized to do that for us. Different marketing companies like RepCard, which is a digital business card company that we are kind of partnered with a little bit as well. So different things that I kind of stepped aside, was kind of trying to focus on helping those things out, and then also seeing deals through. I had a lot of lingering deals that were just kind of like, are they going to succeed? Or are they not? So I was kind of working through a lot of those to kind of trim down old inventory, see those deals through. And now that I'm pretty much have cleared the house, now I'm like, okay, it's time to, crank it up and get back out there and really like hit the phones hard. And we've already got some good leads. My guy, Josh, has already got, I think, 4 or 5 appointments for us this upcoming week. Or this weekend. So, we're going to go out there. We're going to try to get some more inventory locked up just this weekend.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I love that you're openly sharing some of the challenges. Guys, I don't care how long you've been in business, whether it's year number 1 or year number 50, there's going to be challenges inside of your business, period. If being an entrepreneur were easy, everybody would do it. But it's not. It's got a challenge every day, and you kind of have to, step up to the task and problem solve and critically think. And what I love about you and your business there, Austin, is you guys have been really successful, but you don't rest on your laurels. So you've been a 6-figure plus earner just through Pink, I know, for the last couple of years, and you're an investor amongst across multiple asset classes as well. And we'll kind of touch on that here as the video goes. But, you weren't satisfied with just making 6 figures plus and having a fairly automated business and a scalable business. You wanted to get back in the trenches. You wanted to revamp. You guys were very introspective at, taking a hard look at, the challenges and, maybe breaking down that kind of, SWOT, if you will. And you guys have been able to pivot because of that. Now, talk about corporate support, because I know that originally, the executive lease purchase is what really brought Pink to the dance, and has been a wildly successful no cash, no credit investment strategy for a number of years here at this point. But the business has pivoted into that kind of Swiss Army knife approach where there's multiple strategies now that can be taken down. Can you kind of talk about what that transition has looked like, how that's And if it has helped open doors for you in your market that otherwise you wouldn't have taken a look at, if you don't mind speaking to our audience on that.
Yeah. So firstly, want to say that huge proponent, love the ELP program. I like it more than some people, in our other people like me in our company, but I'm still that's our first go-to. Every call we're making, we're pushing that. And obviously there might be some slight variations depending on the deal, the house, the condition, but we always try to look to use that first and foremost. And then obviously we pivot from there. But yeah, having different options is a game changer. I know one of the main ones that Scott kind of coined earlier in the year of the pandemic was the FSBO flip, which was, kind of our take on a retail wholesale, which was a great pivot, especially with the market moving really quickly. It's hard to lock properties up through our program, especially properties that are pretty, right? That's our main option, is to go after pretty homes. So that was a great pivoting strategy. Again, not really having to make any cash, right, to utilize that strategy. And then now locking up capital partners in multiple areas. I mean, that's a game changer. Being able to offer cash offers, whether you're buying it to do a flip, whether you're buying it to buy and hold, whether you're kind of doing a hybrid. I know one of the main reasons that I pursued this company originally was not like fix and flips, doing wholesales, buy and hold. That's all great, and I love it. Obviously, I'm pursuing it, and as a company we're pursuing it. But one of the main things I saw a lack of, I was like, man, our ELP program is so great. It's a great program. There's such a great need for it on the buyer side. But unfortunately, especially because the market we've been in, it's just so hard. Like there's not enough properties that we have to sell homes to those people, right? You never have enough. There's always more buyers than there are properties available to sell through, and there always will be. But what I was like, we need another way that we can acquire properties and sell them through the program. And that's what I was able to work out with RCN Capital, basically a 12 to 18 month window, leveraging their finances along with ours, where we can lock the property up in a special loan program that allows us to either buy it as is and just turn around and sell it through the ELP, or we can even rehab it slightly and then sell it through the ELP. So that's a big game changer as well.
Yeah, no, I love that. And just as a longtime investor myself, when you can walk into a market, when you can walk into really any situation or any lead that really, gets on your radar or crosses your desk, if you will, and within a few minutes, you can, just based on some simple math and just obviously having that knowledge, break a deal down and know that you've got multiple ways to get involved in it. You've got multiple exit strategies, either in the near term or to make the long dollar on it. To me, that's sexy, guys. I think real estate is just one of those things that's fascinating because there's not always just a right or a wrong answer. It's not always just a plug and a play. It's using critical thinking, using experience, creativity to break these deals down that ultimately allow you to make the money. So you touched on the ELP. You're a big proponent of that. I am as well. But I do like the other strategies. If you don't mind, just a couple recent deals you've done, if you could give one, just a straight up standard kind of executive lease purchase, and then maybe talk about one of these other creative deals that has now been really bolted onto your model.
So I'll just say the house is in Fayetteville, a single family home. Got it under agreement in-house with our team, just cold calling, being persistent with this seller. And we found a buyer. We sold it through the ELP. We were supposed to make roughly $15,000 off the deal. So nothing crazy, nothing to
kind of
complain about either. Yeah. So we got into the deal. Things were going well. It was a 6-month term with, I think, a 6-month good faith extension. And the buyer was we're moving forward. Things were looking good. Self-employed gentleman. I just needed some help straightening things out, getting his credit straightened out with us. And unfortunately, just could not, I think personal issues, business issues, did not like one of our lending partners. There was some issues going on there, and he was ready to walk out of the deal. I remember I was actually at the beach. I was on vacation, and he's like, I'm leaving. I'm just like leaving this deal. And I calmed him down. I was like, look, Anthony, you're already in this house, $10,000. You already have spent monthly payments there. You already like put time and energy in this house. Let's find another way to get this still through, so you're not just like walking away for money and time and energy. So he was interested if we could convert it into some kind of seller finance, owner finance situation. So I talked to one of our coaches, Rob, and we spoke to the seller. We were able to come to an agreement with them to rework the deal, extend the amount of time given, and convert it into an owner finance. And payments were still, the seller was good with that because the payments still weren't going towards the principal, but he could make chunk payments that were taking away at the equity, right? So he had at that point, he still owed $180,000. $10,000 that was to us. At that point, we only got $5,000. $10,000 was due to us, and $70,000 or $170,000 to the seller rather. And he got into it about $80,000 payment deep, chunk payments. And his sister called me a month ago, a little over a month ago, right on my birthday actually, and was telling me like, hey, we're moved out of the house. I'm going to send you the keys. We're out of the house. And I was like, what's going on? She's like, well, my brother got locked up and his finances are frozen. And now we can't afford the house, can't make the payments in that contractual period of time now to meet the obligation. So he's like, I'm out. And she's like, I'm going to buy you new blinds to replace the new blinds. I'll put them in the house and I'll mail you the keys. And I said, okay. So we looked over the agreements, and based on how we had it written up, and we made a modified owner finance just through an addendum and through the buyer and seller had them authorize that. And based on the original ELP documents and the addendum that we had in place, I could just step in and assume that equity that he chunked away at. So the seller's due still $100,000 based on that deal. Right now, I'm trying to sell it. I have it under contract or under agreement with a cash buyer at $184,000. And he's supposed to pay all closing costs, all that. So we should walk away with $84,000 if that goes through well. And that means that we would have made almost $100,000 on this property with no cash, very little cash invested. The only thing I'm doing right now is I switched the utilities over to our name. And I've made 2 monthly payments of $1,100 to keep the agreement in play. But, small price to pay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can walk away and recognize close to 6 figures on that deal that cost you not a nickel out of the gate. And what I love about that story, and guys, I'm hearing this for the first time. None of these deal examples we've really talked through prior to this. So I'm hearing it just as you are. So started off as an executive lease purchase, then turned into an owner finance, which was going to benefit the buyer. The buyer had a life hiccup, obviously, if you want to call, I guess, getting locked up and your assets frozen a hiccup. We'll go ahead and stick with that. But we never want bad things to happen to folks. But because of the agreement up front, because you had access to corporate help and your coach to help you really structure that deal from a creative standpoint up front, and you didn't anticipate it, when the bottom fell out for that buyer, you were able to slide in, assume that equity, not skip a beat, a couple monthly payments, like you said, $1,100 each, $2,200, and you're going to potentially recognize $100,000. Guys, these deals are out there. These circumstances are out there. You just have to be active. You got to show up to the trough, as we like to say, and we know that Austin and his team do every day. So great. Started as an ELP, turning into something new. We're able to pivot, rely on corporate support, and you're going to walk away with $100,000. Guys, if you want more deal examples like that, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button below. Austin is an absolute pro at this point, and I'm going to age you here, Austin. You said you just had a recent birthday. If you don't mind sharing with our folks just how young you are, and with all you're doing right now, guys, it just goes to show you that you don't need 20 years of experience to go out there and do this. He does have a real estate background, but what gets big paychecks for Austin is his drive and his determination, and he's just not going to give up. And he's got that plan, and he's going to continue to execute that every day. How old are you, Austin?
Just turned 25.
25 years old, guys. So whether you're 20, 25, 30, 55 watching this video, guys, he is an inspiration to everyone, myself included. I wish I would have had that drive at your age. It took me a couple years longer to kind of beat myself over the head. So let's talk about the next deal. So that was started as an ELP, executive lease purchase, ultimately turned into something else. Based on the new training and that kind of Swiss Army knife approach that's coming and trickling down from corporate, what does this next, non-lease purchase deal look like? If you can kind of walk through where the lead came from and then kind of, inception all the way to the closing.
Sure. So the next one is a deal that I am actively flipping, fixing and flipping with another affiliate in our company out of Utah, Salt Lake City, and his name is Riley. Originally, he was trying to wholesale it to me, and he asked me because I'm from the area, and asked my dad because of his background. Asked us to run some comps and check around, see what we thought about the house, and see if we could help him find a buyer. And ultimately wasn't able to. The price was just a little too high, and project is a little intimidating, which I'll get into in a little bit. And so ultimately that fell through. His money partner was not willing to go in help him buy it, so that fell through. So then it kind of fell dead for a little bit. I communicated with Riley a little bit off and on. But then he came back to me and I came back to him and I said, what if we tried to, buy this property? Like, do you think this gentleman would consider owner finance? Because, that time, that was the best option for me and I think for him. And so we kind of pushed that with the realtor that we were working through. That was also the seller's agent. And eventually we were able to kind of come to an agreement on that. And we were going to run out a 0%, just like a flat monthly payment we were going to pay. And, it was looking great. We're just going to pay the realtor like a flat fee. And it was looking good. Eventually we got down from like 15, because originally the strike price we were going to buy was like 145, 149. Got down to like 115. And then we eventually got down to 105,000, which is our eventual purchase price. Unfortunately, the gentleman, who I'm not sure is still with us or not, his children were involved. He's older, sickly, was supposed to be dying soon. And so it was like 4 or 5 children became very active. And they're like, no, we want, 20,000 down. And, we want, this type of interest rate. And so it started becoming less and less attractive. And then eventually we were trying to still work it out. And then they pulled the rug from underneath us. They're like, no more under finance, like gotta be cash. That's it. And so we kind of thought, okay, we'll give us some more time. We'll see if we can pull the money together. And our lending partner, RCN, we just hadn't fully officiated it yet, but had the green light. We were pretty much good to go. And I was like, you know what? We'll be the guinea pig with them, work with them, and kind of get this going to start the relationship between our companies. And we were able to use them, get a fairly good interest, fairly competitive interest rate, considering the type of money it is, 90% loan to value finance, and they are financing 100% of the rehab costs, which is great as well. And that was a process working with them. So we got that. We pretty much were working through that, getting that closed. Bought it, like I said, for 105,000. We had a little generous, which I was glad that we were generous with the rehab budget now, because some things have looked to be more costly than we originally were anticipating. But we worked out an original rehab budget of 75,000, which they approved. So we have up to that available, where they will basically refund us that money in phases for doing that work with them. So that's interesting. And now ARV, I think the sale value, I think very, very conservatively, I would expect us to make at least 60,000, because I think worst case scenario, if we spend a whole rehab, we pay another realtor, we have closing costs, I think we'll be around 200,000, after like all that's said and done. I think we can at least sell it for 260. I think that's kind of our like worst case scenario. I think our best case scenario is we come in cost basis like 180, around that 185, and we sell it for like upwards of 300, which is some of the higher comps that we found. So I'm thinking we're looking at like a $60,000 to $100,000 kind of gross net profit on that flip. It is a pretty hefty flip just for a lot of different angles, but luckily it's in my town. I have connections, with different contractors. Obviously, been shopping the market, and that's what I'm actively working on right now. So I'm pretty excited and also anxious for that deal.
Yeah, no, I love that. And just goes to show again, you had a lead in, you took a look at it. I love that you are doing the deal with another one of our affiliates out in Utah, Riley. That's part of our Pink community, guys. We've got community groups with our affiliates are becoming friends. They're from all over the country. They're sharing, their experiences. They're sharing their resources. Corporates providing resources, you're able to go out there and do a deal on that. So let's call it on the low end. Let's say you did, 50, 60K there. So the last two deals that we're talking about here, conservatively, let's say 50 on that. You're looking at $150,000 utilizing zero of your own capital, obviously going out there and utilizing the resources that Pink provides. Obviously, you're a big part of bringing that to the table. We certainly appreciate that. But you leaning on the corporate, leaning on the coaches to put these deals together, $150,000. And obviously the year is just getting going here. So let's talk about 2022 for you. And guys, if you want to be a part of an organization like this, you want to go out there and get the results that Austin and his team are getting. You want to dip your toe in the water for real estate, start to create generational wealth. Go ahead and email pink@vipfinancialeducation.com. That's pink with the color at vipfinancialeducation.com. In the subject line, put Pink Conversation and the body, first, last name, and the best number to reach you at. And go ahead and smash that thumbs up button if you want us to continue to bring people like Austin here that are obviously live testimonials that are getting tremendous results with Pink right now. What are you thinking for the rest of the year? Let's talk about maybe some projections, forecasting for your Pink business. And then I know that you like to invest in some other asset classes as well. What are your thoughts on real estate in general? And what else do you like that's out there right now? I know you're a big gold guy.
I am. So for this year, there's a lot of different things I want to do this year. I've in the business, I have some personal, like quirky kind of goals. Like I know I was telling Scott, who's our CEO, I was telling him, I'm going to take a bartending class and get my bartending license just for the hell of it. Like, am I going to ever use it? Who can say? But,
I mean, maybe at home.
Maybe
your friends
at home,
are all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So like that's something cool, like run a 5K, something else that's kind of cool, so just there's a couple of quirky things I want to do.
What are you thinking for Pink just from a monetary standpoint?
So for Pink and the business for our team, the goal is to end up, let's say, with 5 doors, which I could blow that out of the water, but I want to get 5 doors, which right now I have a duplex that I'm rehabbing, and so that will be my first 2 doors right there that I'll be renting. So I want to get at least 3 more by the end of the year, so I'll have 5 total. Our gross revenue, which I'm trying, again, we could blow this out of the water, but I think a very achievable and reasonable goal. I'm trying to hit $500,000 this year, between ELP deals, FSBO flips, probably 1 or 2 more regular flips, whatever, all kinds of deals that we're going on. But that's my goal for that. And then also the 2 guys on my team, like I said, I like to do things in-house. I like to invest in my guys. So for both of my guys, my goal for them this year, not only to make like good money and working on their schedule with me, which is what they're able to do, but also leave the year with a property. So one of my guys, Josh, he really wants to like buy a property with me. I told him I'd go in it with him 50-50. We'll take it down and we'll do Airbnb on the property. My other guy, Joe, he wants to have a rental property. So we'll find a property, we'll go in it on it 50-50, and we'll have a rental property. So that's another goal for me, not only helping myself, but also helping the guys on my team, which that gets me excited as well. Is like, man, how else can I help not only me, but how can I help those guys, like help them achieve financial success. So that's my goal right now. So I'm pretty excited for it, and just getting like I said, just getting the marketing systems in place. We're transitioning a lot of different marketing stuff right now. I'm really excited to see that come into fruition, which I think it will later in the year.
Love that. And I love your goals, and those do seem achievable. I know that just from knowing you for a number of years at this point, you've been well into six figures for a number of years just with Pink. I love the $500,000 goal. I think that's great. I know that you give back. I know that you give back in your community, and obviously you're propping your guys up, and I'm sure that they certainly appreciate that. You're helping them change their financial futures as well while you're creating homeowners. So love that. What's your general thought on the real estate market right now? So people are watching from home, and I hear it all the time. Oh my gosh, real estate's terrifying. I don't know what to do. This is when you make money in real estate right now, is when everyone else is sitting on the sidelines. What do you say to someone that's sitting at home right now, kind of twiddling their thumbs? They've been thinking about getting into real estate for 6 or 12 months. They're scared to death. They're watching mainstream media. They're not leaving their house. What do you say to someone like that to get them off the sidelines, get them on the right track, get them motivated, and get them to make, take that next step and start making money in real estate?
All right. So my first thing is scared money. Don't make no money, right? That's the first thing I'll say, jokingly a little bit. But yeah, I mean, the real estate market's been crazy. I mean, you don't have you could literally be a dunce, not know anything about real estate, and you can know that just because of how crazy it's been. It's kind of a general consensus at this point. You don't have to be an expert to know that. Sure. The market. Along with, I know like how your views are, a lot of other people, investors in the community. I mean, I'm looking for a correction. We're seeing a correction slowly but surely, kind of creeping along. But I'm waiting for I don't know necessarily if it's the proportions of a 2008 correction, but I think there will be something similar. And I'm very eager. I'm very excited for those opportunities that are out there right now and that are forthcoming. So I'm trying to really just lay the network out as much as I can. I'm trying to network. I'm setting up connections with, multiple realtors to be my partner around different pockets of my territory. I'm getting my guys ready. I'm getting myself ready. We're lining up money in multiple different avenues to be available for us. So we're actively pursuing deals right now, but we're excited for where the deals are going to come. And I think they are going to come in a big way, especially, you had inflation roughly 7%. I mean, come on. I mean, we have a lot of issues economically right now, supply chain. But I would say this, for people that are interested in real estate, obviously a lot of avenues in real estate to pursue. You want something that's not conventional. You want something that you want to be with a community that's growing rapidly, with a leadership core that's really pursuing to do well by people. There's a lot of business opportunities, but some people, they don't care at all. These people, they do care. They care about you. They care about their communities that they're in. So I would say definitely give it a look, and take that leap of faith if you're trying to take your financial security in your own hands.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I love what you said right there. So, I mean, you're out there doing deals right now. You're in a really good financial position, but you're just not sitting around. You're making moves. You're positioning. You're casting that net now for what is going to be happening. And again, guys, none of us can predict, obviously when that market correction is going to happen, how severe it's going to be. Inflation's through the roof. Do interest rates have to be adjusted? Is the Fed going to take that plunge, which could ultimately tank the real estate market? So there's all these question marks out there right now. But if you're not doing anything, you're not looking at the trends, you're not trying to get out in front of the trends, all of these things can ultimately come to a head and happen. But if you're not positioned and you're not prepared for them, you're not going to be one of those folks that are going to be making money. Austin, kudos to you for getting your team prepared for that. So we're going to go ahead and wrap with that, guys. We love having folks like Austin here on the channel. He's been a great success story for Little Pink Houses of America. Austin, if you don't mind, we're going to check back in with you. But I mean, it's not even February 1st at the time of recording right now, and you're already going to have about $150,000, $160,000 on the books just through Pink alone for 2022. And obviously, you've got 11 months more in front of you. So best of luck to you and your team. Can't wait to get those updates. Guys, if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. Smash that thumbs up. That lets us know we're on the right path to continue to bring folks like Austin here on the channel. We're going to continue to focus and feature Pink Houses of America on here. We're getting time and time again phenomenal results. Austin is a great testimonial for that. $150,000 within the first 30 days. That being said, Austin, thanks for joining us again, guys. And thanks for joining us here on the VIP Financial Education channel, folks, where we talk about all things credit, capital, cash flow. We love to feature real estate on here as well. So until next time, take care and make it a great day.
Some names and where you're from.
Bobby and Jenny Witten. We're from Knoxville, Tennessee.
What's your previous real estate experience?
So we've got some buy and hold properties. We currently have about 7 units, and we've been in real estate investing for about a year now.
Fantastic. After the last 4 days, what's the biggest takeaway?
The biggest takeaway from us is this is something you don't have to do alone. The staff here is incredible. They're supportive, they're knowledgeable, they're friendly, professional. We don't feel like we're doing this alone. We feel like we've got a team behind us, and that's going to make all the difference.